Laura Creighton Buck McCray learned early in her life that helping hands can change the world.
My daddy was found to be very good with his hands, and some missionary or someone at Talladega College discovered that and they sent him to Battle Creek to be trained as a physiotherapist.
In Battle Creek, Michigan, the Battle Creek Sanitarium, or the SAN as it was called, was founded by Dr. John Harvey Kellogg. It was an innovative health spa where diseases were treated with fresh air, exercise, hydrotherapy, massage, a vegetarian diet, and rest. Through research to find new sources of nutritious food, cereal was created, and thus began the Kellogg cereal legacy. When Laura was born in 1908 in Battle Creek, her father, William Ples Creighton, was taking advantage of the extraordinary opportunity of being trained in the techniques used at the SAN. Booker T. Washington, the founder and president of Tuskegee Institute in Tuskegee, Alabama, became acquainted with Dr. Kellogg. Kellogg was one of the people Dr. Washington appealed to for funds for his beloved Tuskegee Institute. The helping hand of Dr. Kellogg to Tuskegee would intersect Laura's life.
Booker T. Washington needed someone to travel with him, and my daddy was the one chosen to do that. Some 3 years ago, I found myself almost out of commission
physically. Without my knowledge or consent, my wife in some way got hold of a colored man trained here under Dr. Kellogg by the name of Mr. Creighton. He came to Tuskegee, was installed in my home by my wife, and for 6 months he had charge of me. At the end of that 6 months, I was a new man. And not only a new man, but I knew more about living and enjoying life than I had ever known before.
Life in Alabama continued to teach Laura about helping hands. Her father shared his skills with the community and soon became known simply as Doc. And her mother, Lillian, nurtured hundreds of people with her kind manner and good cooking.
Their relationship, I think, helped me to know what love could be. I'm sure that my daddy always wanted a boy in the family, but there were 3 girls, and he made up for it by making us think that we were his last wish. So my sister Helen and Bester and myself really enjoyed a warm home, and when I said the warmth came from heart to heart. My mother and dad would be members of the PTA, or they would be members, good, active, regular in attendance at church. And they were really the founders of the Rosenwald School. And I think what makes me think about that so much was because neither of them were highly educated, but they were educators. I wanted to go to work because I wanted to make some money like the other girls in my class and all. And it happened that the storekeeper who lived about a block from us up on the hill needed a cook. And when I graduated, I wanted to be that cook. That's really what I wanted to do. And my mother, in order that I would not go to work on Monday morning, took suddenly very sick Sunday night. And instead of going to work, they took me to Barber Memorial Seminary, where I did my high school education. And they sent me to Barber because in my community, school lasted about 5 months because we had to pick cotton in order to, to gather in the cotton. And my mother and dad wanted me to go to school 9 months. And that made Barber an interesting place for me to go. We would have quiet hours where we would have to study. And of course, and then Christian persons who are teachers, when I said Christian, I meant persons who cared about us and who taught us to love and who loved us. And it made us not only to love ourselves and to love each other, but to love God.
Tuskegee University was the next stop. As a student and part of the administrative staff, Laura accepted her role of being the helping hand to others.
Miss McCray, darling. It's wonderful to see you again.
It's good to see you.
Laura and her granddaughters, Shanta and Laura, recently visited the Tuskegee campus, where the young women learned a great deal about their grandmother's life-changing activities there.
I didn't know you used to sing.
Oh, I sang. I sang with the choir, the Tuskegee choir, and was a member of the choir. And we, at the opening of Radio City Music Hall, that was my first year working though, but I still remain a member of the Tuskegee choir, and we sang at the opening of Radio City Music Hall, and during that time, Carnegie Hall. We stayed 2 months in order to sing at Carnegie Hall. And Charles G. Gomadian was the dean of students, and I served as his administrative assistant. And our Charles believed that the only way blacks were going to receive their rights would be through the courts. Charles and I travel a lot back and forward, especially to Highlander Folk School, where Highlander Folk School was a school for training persons. We're helping us to learn how to become registered to vote, because in Macon County, right here in Tuskegee, the Board of Registrars would hide so that blacks could not find them to become registered to vote. And when I became registered to vote, I had to pay $1 for every year since I was of voting age. We would come up once or twice a year to Highlander Folk School, where Miles Harden is the director, or was the director, and he would try to teach us strategies of what to do in order to become registered to vote. And on this particular occasion, we were there, and the person who was kind of serving, kind of like helping you with the babies, or giving you a cup of tea, or seeing that you were comfortable. I said, well, she doesn't even seem like she's interested in the workshop. And when we were about to leave, Miles said to us, when you go back to your several communities, do something about what you have learned here. Don't go back and do nothing. And he turned and said, Rosa, when you go back to Montgomery, do something about what you have learned. And Rosa said, I'll try. And the next time I heard from Rosa, she had refused to give up her seat to this white person on the bus, and started the bus, Montgomery Bus boycott.
As assistant to the Dean of Students, Laura did something with what she had learned.
This is my lady, the queen. This is the queen here.
She gave her energies to help students gain skills for living.
Laura was one of the first persons I met when I came to Tuskegee. She was working in the office, the Dean of Students office, and was responsible for working with students, finding employment for them at the university.
Mrs. Buck said, I've got a new job for you. And she gave me a job then working on the projectors for the Saturday night movies for the kids at the gym over at Logan Hall. And the excitement and the technical task, of course, was to be able to manage these huge projectors. But Mrs. Buck didn't give you a job. She placed you in something for you to grow in that would add to your capability as a person, not as a worker. Ultimately, I was become a 2-star general in the Air Force, and one of my, that I like to think about as an achievement toward the defense of the United States of America was being designated as the chief electronics engineer for design of the electronics for the B-1 bomber, and that the technologies developed in this $23 billion project would be the heart and core of the navigational system of the bomber fleet of the United States of America.
As I completed graduate studies, she hand-selected me and said, I want you to have the position I hold. And that, to me, was, as I said, one of the most unselfish things that a person could do. She has helped to shape and mold a lot of young folks' lives.
Not being satisfied that through her Tuskegee University job she was helping students all she could, Laura began a school to teach young people the skills to successfully enter the business community.
I'm standing now in front of the place which is called the McCray School of Business, and it was that I trained secretaries and other business persons with courses offered after school hours. I work at Tuskegee until 4:30, and then from 7 o'clock until 10, I would do the tutoring work in business here. We taught shorthand, typewriting, business English, business math, bookkeeping, and office forms. You know, it was a complete business tutoring session.
My mother had the idea that she wanted all of her children to learn as many things as they possibly could because we had no way of knowing what skills would get us a job. So one of the things that she had me to learn was typing and shorthand. And I went to Miss McCrae's class and she taught me.
Mrs. McCray was my first typing teacher, and I presently use my skills in typing. I'm a writer-editor for the Health and Human Services, U.S. government, and I'm a speechwriter. So my skills have come into play, and they've been very critical for me because I type all day, every day. And Mrs. McCray is a woman that I've never forgotten because I also know her through my church. And she's just such a vivacious woman, such a wise woman, just so full of life. And I've always remembered Mrs. McCray as a child. And so I've been able to use all the skills and the personal things that she's given me through the church in my life.
The graduations were held at the Greenwood Missionary Baptist Church in full costume, and in other words, cap and gowns and everything. And, you know, yes. And we would use persons from the community to do the speaking and participate in the graduation exercises. Tuskegee trained us to try to be of service wherever we were located and whatever we were doing. And I think in order to do that, it takes a lifetime of preparation to do that. You never stop trying to do the best you can so that you can help someone else to be the best that they can be. That's still, that doesn't change. The methods and the opportunities, the resources may change, but I think the goal never, so far it hasn't changed.
After her retirement from Tuskegee, Laura traveled to Nashville, Tennessee to visit her daughter and her family for 1 month. Much to their surprise, she joined Edge Hill United Methodist Church the very first Sunday and stayed. No one would have guessed that with this move, Laura would finally become the cook she planned to be in 7th grade, but not just for one family.
Tuskegee Tigers.
Tuskegee.
Please remain at your table until your table.
From Tuskegee.
Please remain at your table until your table is called. One day when the secretary in the office needed a meal because her car was broken down, I fixed a crock of soup for her. And a man was passing by and smelled the soup and came in and ate it all up from her. So then I said to Bill, our pastor, why don't we just have some soup available for persons who come by who are hungry? And he was just tickled to hear that. We prepare for 80 persons, Tuesdays and Fridays.
So we thank you for this time together. We thank you for each precious child of God who is seated in this place. We thank you for Laura McCray, for all of her years of love and service to us.
Even now, I feel maybe stronger than ever that I should be helping to feed people who are hungry, or to do what I can as long as I have breath.
In her 88 years of life, Laura McCray has seen many changes. Her faith in God, her loving attitude, and her helping hands have touched many people. She has enriched many lives. Perhaps life is not so much about how world changes affect us, but how we affect changes in the world.
All of my life I have remembered that my training is for service for others.
I know